I've spoken to Caleb, reached out to him and his father yesterday, and connect with his father here later. Whether it's Caleb or anybody else, everybody talks about recruiting and go and get the next class and the next class after that even. There's nobody that's more important to recruit than your players every day. And you do that with relationships. You do that with connectivity. You got to, again, reach them the right way and always be, on guard, if you will, with, again, the ability that we as adults, we've laid out there. There's no reason for pause. And we've all been 17, 18, 19-year-old young people. There's a reason that insurance for a 17-year-old is a lot more expensive than it is 24-year-old. It's called judgment. And so, again, there's no reason to pause. And, so the portal's a very real thing, with all of your players. But that I've always believed in continuing to nurture your relationships. Don't get so caught up in the recruiting that you lose sight of what's most important, what's in your locker room, because it's the lifeblood of your program. To be honest, I've certainly paid some attention. We talked about it briefly last night, had an amazing Zoom call with them yesterday, and then a great team meeting I felt this morning. Really looking forward to, again, pulling the curtain back in that regard. Quickly, my number one goal is to get on the road recruiting, make sure that this 22 class that's due to enroll here in the next few weeks is where it needs to be. And then all the while, in between visits, visiting with our current players, and we talked about that. The transfer portal, and we just make it easy, and it's actually kind of cool to just quit. It's like cool to quit, and I don't get that. And I understand there's always extenuating circumstances and situations where it's okay for somebody needs to move on, or maybe a graduate transfer that wants to go somewhere and actually play more. But but it is a real issue. And so I think that goes back to on the front end of trying to recruit people. And again, it's a people first. I believe that wholeheartedly, and finding people. That's why, to me, you instead of speed everything up, you need to slow it down. And that's not real popular. These I don't even know, is it sophomores, if they're 2024, like they're mad if they don't get an offer. And I'm like, what's so wrong with starting like a full year of varsity? Going on your first date, learn how to shave, maybe get a driver's license before you get a $120,000 scholarship. You're mad we don't offer you when you're 14 years old, and you don't know anything about them. There's no track record, and we're going to value our offer. And it's important to me, first of all, that we understand what those values are and what the fit is. Find people first. Yeah, they got to be talented. That goes without saying. They got to be a great player. But we're going to look for people first, because I think that's what sustains. There'll be some tough moments, and you go to college, it's hard, especially when you're young and immature. So I think it's important that you find, people that got the right stuff, and whatever that is. And again, our job as a staff is having the ability to identify that. And it's not, nobody's going to be, nobody's going to protect themselves wholeheartedly where you're not going to lose anybody. But we want to keep it, we want to keep that to a minimum, because I think continuity can be a very good thing, as we know. And development, I want to be a developmental program. I want everything about our program to be developmental. That doesn't mean the guy don't play till he's older. It just means it's a developmental program. Football's a developmental game. The more you play, the more you practice, the better you get. There's a reason why that 4th and 5th year player, I had a couple of 6-year guys this year, amazing players. They just play way up here. They fly up here where the Gulf Stream does. They're not down here with the King Air. They're up there, that Gulf Stream. And sometimes those young guys, they can get up there, but they're down here, and they're up here, and they're down there. And that's how they think as well. So again, I think it's important that we're patient. We find the right fit in regards to the recruiting process. Be aggressive when you need to. When you see it, when you don't. And then again, I think you got to continue to always, you can't spend all this time, you spend a year recruiting some of these guys, and then all of a sudden you get them, and then you're on to the next, and then you lose your way with the players that are in your locker room. And I think managing that is very important. I think it's important. It's my responsibility that I continually remind our staff when we get everybody in place that there's nothing that's more important than those guys in that locker room, period. And that other stuff can wait, and that has its urgency as well. But I think when you get that locker room right, everything else will work accordingly. I have a career, almost 30 years of being loyal. Just look at my career, and if I've been something, I've been loyal. And so I haven't been a coach that's jumped all over, taking this job, take this job, take this job. So I think that speaks for itself. Again, it's not an easy thing to sell, but I do think that they chose Oklahoma for a reason. And we always challenge recruits to take the recruiting coach out of it. And just what a wonderful place it is to, chase your dreams, to get a great quality education, to develop holistically. And so it's much more than just one person. I recognize that being the head coach is very important place in all of that. And but again, if they're looking for me, for example, if they're looking for a program with stability, a program of success, this is a program, first of all, that's displayed that on its own. And then my career has been exactly that as well. So on the biggest stages in the biggest games, and have that kind of experience to sell.
For more information, you can visit tulsaworld.com.